Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome to the top 10 facts about the United States. Now obviously being Australian, I tend to know a lot of Australian things. We've been checking out different things about Australia, but now I just want to know what are the top 10 facts about the US. So let's just see what these people have. Here we go, top 10 facts around the world. Oh, that must be a series. Okay then. And then straight into the US. Ah yes, lovely. What the hell? Hey. First of all, I know I'm immediately pausing it before the video's even started, but I had no idea there was a port right next to the Statue of Liberty. I feel as though every time I've ever seen the Statue of Liberty, it's literally just like perfect on its own. And maybe there might be Manhattan in the background, but I feel as though it's just generally always on its own as like a massive free, I guess, Liberty statue. And so yeah, I never knew it was that industrialized, but anyway.
And welcome to 10 facts about the USA.
There we go, that's what I expect.
Number 1. The United States of America is a federal republic consisting of 50 states and is the third largest country in the world by landmass.
We do know that. Look at that. I guess they're also including Alaska in that entire thing. But I want to go back to here. There are so many states, especially up in that top left, where I just go, wow, there is no way that I could ever remember and label every single one. I mean, of course, if I was living there, then I would certainly feel as though I should be. But living in Australia, they just all blend together.
Nearly as big as the entire continent of Europe. The population in 2001 is estimated to be 330 million.
What? Did you say 2001?
The population in 2001 is estimated to be 330 million.
Why? Why are we estimating in 2001? Surely there has to be some data that just goes, no, it was this in 2001. If you were saying, oh, estimating in 2021, then I'd go, okay. Oh, and also look at that, population per square mile by state, 2000 census figures. So yeah, exactly as I said, surely there has to be some kind of data, and there is, but no, look at that. I guess, I don't even know what that is. I'm sure if you actually were able to zoom in enough to Manhattan, it would probably be the highest. But either way, you can definitely see that entire middle is just, well, it's basically white, what, 0 to 20? That's like Australian numbers.
30 million. The Statue of Liberty is 93 meters tall and was a gift from the people of France to the United States in 1886.
Oh, I mean, I guess we've kind of had a little bit of a reverse angle there that definitely shows a little bit more of a port. But either way, I guess we know that it was given from France and was shipped over and blah, blah, blah.
But see what I mean? A gift from the people of France to the United States.
It is just completely like on its own. I mean, obviously it's zoomed in and yeah, whatever. You can certainly still not argue that there isn't like massive, just, I don't know, shipping tower cranes is all in the background there. It isn't until you come around to here where you can see a couple, but that other photo just made it look way closer.
Possibly the most iconic symbol of the United States.
Yeah. That'd probably, yeah, I'd certainly argue that. What else would be? I guess the Twin Towers, when they were around, were pretty iconic, and well, I guess since they weren't around anymore, they're pretty iconic as well. And then Golden Gate Bridge, actually, that would be another one that would definitely come up there. And yeah, I mean, Hollywood, I mean, that's the kind of the main ones that I can think of that come to mind.
The United States has maintained its position of being the world's largest economy since 1871.
Yes. Whoa.
The economy is so large that the US is often noted as an economic superpower, and this is due to the fact...
What do you mean often noted? It is the world currency / like the economic superpower. There are other economic superpowers, but if you have to name the economic superpower, it is certainly a reason that every currency is kind of like, oh, and so today compared to the US dollar, it's like up or down or left or right or whatever it may be. And I definitely feel as though you wouldn't be having that exact situation happening if you weren't the economic superpower of the world.
That it makes up almost a quarter of the global economy.
What? I'm going to take that back.
Due to the fact that it makes up almost a quarter of the global economy.
Quarter? One country has a quarter of the world's money. I mean, it's not that simple, I imagine, but let's just say that he said it was a quarter of the world's economy. That is insane. I mean, obviously it's a big country with a lot of resources and it's all spread out all over the place, but either way, the fact that you think of every single little country and you just go, wow, the US has a quarter of all of those, that's pretty insane.
The bourbon industry is growing at a fast pace. This is great news
kind of
for
random
Kentucky,
fact is this?
as they produce 96% of the world's bourbon.
Wow.
Due to the high demand,
That's
Kentucky
crazy.
stores about 4.7 million barrels filled with bourbon.
Geez, at those kind of numbers, you'd think that they're just filled with oil. I mean, I guess alcohol, oil aren't too different in terms of how kind of poisonous they can be, but either way, 4.7 million barrels of bourbon, how the hell do you even go about storing something like that? I mean, I guess, like I said, it's the US, and so they just got space.
Surprisingly, the number of barrels outweighs the population of Kentucky, as there are 4.3 million residents.
Oh, wow. Imagine if every single, I guess, resident of Kentucky was just like, here you go, here is your barrel. You have to look after it. And so there you go. That's why they have 4.7 million, because they actually have to just adjust for, I guess, population rate increasing up another 400,000.
The Gateway Arch, also known as the Gateway to the West, is a monument in St. Louis, Missouri.
Missouri. I would never have thought that was in Missouri. I want to take it back to the other one because I feel as though that's a better photo or image there. Look at that. That is a big arch, isn't it? I've never obviously seen it in person. I've only ever seen it in photos, but man, like, it's as big as their surrounding buildings. I mean, those buildings don't look like they're massive, but they're still a building.
Arch, also known as the Gateway to the West,
is
a monument in St. Louis, Missouri, and sits along the west bank of the Mississippi River. At 192 meters, 630 feet tall.
Wait, what's this? Because this, no, that's not the real one, is it? Because I actually forget what it's called, because obviously it's not the White House, it's the other one, but I didn't know that was in Missouri, and so I don't think it is in Missouri. I thought it was in Washington, D.C., and so I'm confused. Perhaps people will be able to let me know what the hell that thing is, because literally I remember having that big dome, or maybe it's just a similar dome.
The Mississippi River. At 192 meters, 630 feet tall, the Gateway Arch claims the title as the tallest man-made monument in the United States.
Wow. I wonder what the tallest man-made monument in the world is. I know that there are some parts of Asia, I don't know exactly where, it might be Thailand or China. There's some massive statues of all types of kind of religious artifacts and whatnot. And I guess it also kind of depends on whether or not you're including things like the Eiffel Tower or whatever it may be. But yes, that is definitely not a small arch. I mean, honestly, it looks smaller than 200 meters. I knew it was big, but at 200 meters high, that's massive.
Since the office was established in 1780...
I'm sorry, before he goes into this just doesn't look like a room that is, I mean, you see houses with a room like this, they're very expensive houses, but you see houses like this, and so I must admit, it just always surprises me that this is where one of the most powerful people in the world just spends a lot of their time.
45 people have served in 46 presidencies, 4 of them were assassinated.
What?
The first president was George Washington, and the current one is Joe Biden.
Hang on a second, there's so much information right there. So 4 have been assassinated. I didn't know about 4. Obviously, I'm going to know about Kennedy because that's a very high profile, more recent one. I guess these guys are a little bit later or older in history. And so, yeah, I didn't know that there was 4 though. Man, that's not a very good run. That's like almost 10%, or I guess 8% or something.
First president was George Washington.
Oh, okay. I always think that it's Abraham Lincoln was the first one, but no, George Washington. That certainly makes sense because doesn't he have like so many things named after him? Besides being obviously on the currency, I'm fairly sure, but he also has a state and a day and something else. And so yes, I can certainly understand why the first president of the US is held at such a high kind of, I don't even know what to call it, but high standard, I guess. Number 7.
The Great Lakes, Lake Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, and Ontario make up 21% of the planet's surface fresh water.
Wow.
The largest of these...
Are they freshwater lakes? I had never realized that they were freshwater lakes. Wow, that is huge. I mean, I don't know what the elevation is surrounding them. Maybe that's what this entire map is. Because if we look at the key over on the left here, we can see we've got green to kind of the brown. And so I guess maybe they're surrounded by mountains, but I had no idea that they were freshwater lakes.
Lake Superior,
they get
Michigan,
deep too.
Huron,
450
Erie, and
meters.
Ontario
Feet,
make
I guess,
up 21% of the planet's surface fresh water. The largest of these, Lake Superior, contains enough water to cover all of North and South America in 30 centimeters of water.
Wow. Wait.
We're all of North and South America in 30 centimeters of water.
All of North and South America in 30 centimeters of water. That is the biggest flood, if you kind of just did that, I've ever heard of. Like, that's kind of ocean level. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but the fact that it's called a lake and not a sea is kind of surprising. I mean, I wonder if that has something to do with the fact that it is freshwater. Like, can you not have a freshwater sea? Because I would certainly think that that is virtually getting to the same size as the Black Sea and all of those kind of things. And so, yeah, I wonder what is actually the distinction there. And
the
also,
largest of these, Lake Superior...
Yeah, I thought so. They only actually mentioned that it was Lake Superior. That doesn't even include all the other ones, and so I wonder how much water you actually have in those 3 lakes. Like, could you, I don't know, maybe you could get 60 centimeters of the entire of the Americas.
Contains enough water to cover all of North and South America in 30 centimeters of water. Russia sold Alaska to the United States for 2 cents per acre.
I forgot about that.
The largest state in the nation by far is Alaska, and it came up cheap at just
2 cents an acre. Wait,
2 million total.
Okay, I was literally about to say, I was going to go, what the hell kind of price is that going to be? But $7.2 million for an entire let's say, country. I guess it is a country even though it's a state. Is it? I don't even know anymore. But either way, the entire thing, 7.2 million. There are plenty of people in this world. I mean, obviously there aren't like a massive percentage, but let's just say there are plenty of people. Like, think of billionaires. How many Alaskas could they buy these days?
In just 50 years following the purchase, America made their money back more than 100 times over.
Whoa! 100 times, so they made, let's say, $1 billion in the first 50 years after they bought it. When did they buy it though?
When was it? United States for 2 cents per acre.
I didn't actually say when it was. You just said how much it was and all those kind of things. Damn, I would love to know when it was actually sold, because man, either way, that's a serious return of investment. You know, we got things and stocks and crypto, everything is going gangbusters, but either way, that's certainly a hell of an investment when you buy an entire country, like I said, for 7.2 million, and you end up with $1 billion, let's just say, in this grand scheme of things, in a country's lifetime, in not very long after you bought it. And so yeah, I guess you got to give them a round of applause in some regard. But either way, I would love to know why Russia sold it. Did they just go, oh well, we're already big enough, we just really don't need this other piece that's all the way over there, you know, it's just so far away, it's kind of not even connected to us, why do we even have it in the first place? Is actually a question I have. Like, well, how did they actually just manage to kind of get that in their possession? But either way, I guess the US has got it now, and that's just where they've made plenty of money, I'm sure.
More people live in New York City than in 40 out of 50 states.
Wow.
New York may be geographically tiny.
Wait, so he said New York City, and I always get a little bit confused because you have Manhattan, and then I think that you've got New York City, which is bigger than Manhattan because it's Manhattan Island. And then of course you've got the state of New York, which then obviously has New York and Manhattan inside. And so I wonder if you're talking about New York City or Manhattan. I can only assume, and I hope for the people that live there, that he's going to be talking about New York City, because if there is that many people living in Manhattan, I don't even know how anyone gets anything done.
But it's home to 8.5 million people and growing.
Million people.
That's more bodies crammed into one location than the whole wide countryside, including 40 other states.
40 other states. Man, I guess that certainly makes sense as to why we saw with that other graph where it was like 0 to 20 people per square kilometer, because you just have everyone just living either in California or I guess in New York, according to that entire thing.
Yellowstone National Park.
Yellowstone, yeah.
On March 1st,
so cool.
1872, Yellowstone became the world's first national park. There are more than 10,000 hydrothermal features in Yellowstone.
Jeez.
The 4 types of thermal features are geysers, hot springs, mud pots, and fumaroles.
Wow, okay. So,
geysers.
What was that? Geysers, hot springs, mud pots, and fumaroles. I don't know what fumaroles are. I can kind of assume what the other 3 are, and or know what geysers and hot springs are. Mud pots, though, maybe that's just kind of boiling mud pits, or either way, I certainly don't feel as though you want to be going in them. But no, like I said, I just find Yellowstone so incredible. I mean, I've never actually been there, but from what I've heard, it's just very diverse, from all the kind of animals that live there, even to then, I guess, the geography of the entire place. Either way, the entire thing is just very diverse. You know, you've got forests and snow areas, I think it's tundra, and realistically, that's just because it is such a massive national park. And so to hear that it was the first national park in the world, that is pretty damn cool. I have to give some respect on that, because they just went, no, this is a massive area that we need to try and protect, just because it's incredible, if nothing else.
Hot springs, mud pots, and fumaroles.
Look at that. Oh, maybe that's a fumarole, or maybe not. Maybe they're just chucking up other images. Either way, that is a very impressive looking area. That just looks steaming hot though. But there we go. That is going to be doing it for the end of the video. No, there were so many random things like here. I think one of my favorite ones was the entire just lakes. Well, one, like I said, I didn't know that they were freshwater lakes, or maybe I've heard and I've forgotten. Either way, it was definitely a surprise for me to hear that. And then just the amount of water, like the entire of the Americas covered in 30 centimeters of water, and Statue of Liberty, and yeah, there are so many random things. The Kentucky barrels, either way, some of them was definitely like, well, how is this making a list? And some of them like, wow, that's actually pretty cool. And so yeah, well done. These are some of my favorite lists where you just go, oh, okay, they're just encompassing such a massive variety of things. Even just the fact that, yeah, like this one, it was a quarter of the entire world's money lives in the US. Either way, that is just crazy. And so really, when you see a video like this and you just go, yes, they're a massive country with a massive amount of money, with a massive amount of other things, you know, they've got Alaska going for them, Great Lakes, just all these big things and just massive amount of resources, it certainly then starts to make sense as to why you can just have such a powerhouse of a country no matter which way you kind of look at it. But anyway, in saying that, I reckon I'm going to call it there. So thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to do the YouTube algorithmic things down below. Also, if this is the first video of mine that you're watching, maybe you want to check out some of the other ones, and also I'll make sure to link the original video in the description down below. Or hey, maybe even just want to consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya.